What up, everybody? This is Jonathan Evans, and listen, I want to talk about your blessing or your curse. You choose. Let's go. All right, everybody, listen. Everybody loves this verse. I hear it in pulpits. I hear it in churches. I hear it at your house. You hear your family members say it, especially when it relates to money. They say, give, and it will be given back to you, pressed down, running over in a full measure. You hear the preachers saying, pressed down, running over in a full measure. You know, they going in 100% during offering, because they want you to know that if you give, it will be given back to you. And not only will it be given back to you, it'll be pressed down so that I can pour more in, running over. It's going to be a full measure. By the measure in which you give, it will return to you. And remember, if you haven't watched the other episodes leading up to this one, you want to watch it, because it comes on the heels of treat others the way that you want to be treated. And remember, listen, that verse is in the hood. That verse is assuming that you're treating people that are enemies to you the way you want to be treated, that you're treating people who have hurt you, who have harmed you, all of those things, and who have robbed you, treating them like you want to be treated. And then it says, pardon those who need to be pardoned. Don't condemn those. Don't judge. Give mercy. All of those things it's asking you to do. Love your enemy. It goes over and over again from Luke 6:31 to Luke 6:38. You want to read it. And then it says in Luke 6:38, after loving your enemy and being good to those who hurt you and giving mercy and not condemning and not judging and giving forgiveness, give, and it will be given back to you. Pressed down, running over in a full measure. You see, that verse is not just about money. That verse is not just about your finances. That verse is about your whole life. Whatever you give, the it that you give is the it that returns. That there is a divine gift for what you do in your human life. How you give to other people is how God uses his strategy to give to you. So people don't even realize that the reason why they may be struggling, the reason why they may be hurting, the reason why their finances may be struggling, the reason why they're living in the torment of unforgiveness, the reason why they're not receiving mercy, the reason why they can't get forgiveness from this person, the reason why they may be living in a scenario that is totally hell on earth is because of what they gave. Give, and it will be given back to you. Pressed down, running over in the full measure. You see, most people only see that verse in the positive, but that verse comes on the heels of enemies and robberies and people who need mercy and people who should be condemned and you being asked not to condemn them, people who look like they need judgment and you being asked not to judge them, people who don't deserve forgiveness and you being asked to forgive them. And then it says, give, and it will be given back to you. It says lend, but what credit is it if you lend to someone who can give to you in return? Sinners do that. It says give and expect nothing in return. Sounds like what Christ did for you. And it says if you do those things, then it will be given back to you. You need forgiveness? Give, and it will be given back to you. You need mercy? Give, and it will be given back to you. You want a blessing? Bless, and it will be given back to you. If you want to not be condemned, to not be in the scenarios that you're in, the question is, what are you giving? Because God says there is a divine giving structure that is connected to how you operate in your relationship with other people. And many people have never made the connection. They're unwilling to give what they need and wondering why they never get what they want. But God is saying, by the measure in which you give, I'm just returning it to you. And not only am I returning it to you, I'm pressing it down to make more space to give more of it so that it runs over and the cup totally overflows. If you're living in a scenario that it seems like it's pressed down, overflowing in the negative, maybe you should look around and see what you're giving. Because this is a positive verse or it's a negative verse. It depends on what's coming out of you. And that's what people don't think of. That's what people don't understand. That's why people don't know that this is a blessing or a cursing. In Matthew 18, you're going to see the parable of the king forgiving a slave who owed him 10,000 denarii. And he owed him 10,000, and the king forgave the slave. Then the slave found another slave who only owed 100, and he choked that slave and wouldn't forgive that slave. And it says when the king found out about it, the king sent the slave that was unwilling to forgive the other slave to the tormentors to be tormented. Oh my goodness. Who's the king in the story? God. Jesus is the king. and he says, I forgave you of 10,000 and you can't forgive that person of 100? Send that slave to the tormentors to be tormented. So the king will allow you to be tormented because of your unforgiveness. That's what you gave. But remember, torment? That seems so rough. Oh, it will be given back to you. Pressed down, running over. It will be a full measure. So when you look at your life and the things that you're going through and the things that you're experiencing, what are you giving? People don't think like that. They don't make a divine connection with their lifestyle. And they don't think the coach is watching. They just think they're getting away with it. No. You want it to turn around? God is saying, let me see what you give. It's too hard? Well, nothing is too hard for God. It's just his choice. If it's too hard for you, then he'll act like it's too hard for him. Because give, and it will be given back to you. Pressed down, running over, and it will be a full measure. So think about your unforgiveness. Think about the cruelty. Think about the mean spirit. Think about the impatience. Think about the hastiness. Think about the unwillingness to understand. Think about the unwillingness to listen to your spouse, the unwillingness to come to common grounds, the unwillingness to share, the unwillingness to be a giver with the gifts that God has given you, the unwillingness to share your time, talent, and treasure, total unwillingness to be committed, total unwillingness to show up when you're called to show up, total unwillingness to serve, total unwillingness. You are the robber in the story. From Luke 6:31 through 38, you are the person that's causing the problems. You are the enemy. You are the one that's robbing. You are the one that's stripping people. And Jesus is ending by letting you know, oh, okay, give and it will be given back to you. Pressed down, running over, it'll be a full measure. On the other end, it can be a blessing. If you're the person forgiving, the person giving mercy, the person blessing. I've seen it so many times that he'll give it back to you. Pressed down, running over, a full measure. Let's get that full measure, but let's get it on this side, not that side. Listen, be steadfast, unmovable, always abound in the work of the Lord, and know that it will not go in vain. Why? Because if you give, he'll give it back to you. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, make sure you're a part of the community. Listen, and leave a comment, because I know you've experienced this in your life, because God is watching. Let's go. What up, everybody? This is Jonathan. Listen, hard truth. God is watching. Listen, we want you to be a part of the community. Like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends. Come on in. Leave a comment. And let's continue to grow together. Give, and it'll come back to you. Let's do it on the blessing side, not the cursing side. He's watching. Let's go.